our team, our community. This is CondorsTown, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
Thursday morning, 10 a.m., the time we usually are supposed to be doing these things, but this week we're actually doing it on a Thursday morning at 10 a.m. What's up? It's Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. The other side of the split screen here, it's Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. How you doing this morning, my friend?
I'm good. Fresh off a win last night, so feeling good and excited for a Thursday.
The stars were not so bright deep in the heart of downtown. Yeah. See, look at that. Look at that.
The rain. You couldn't even see it. Couldn't even see the stars.
Let's do what we always do. We always talk about all things CondorsTown. Of course, everything CondorsTown is also related to the parent organization, which is the Edmonton Oilers. And, of course, let's talk playoff run because that is literally kind of what everything is leaning towards right now. Right now, they're in third place in the Pacific, but they're having that issue of Vegas and LA keep winning. How are things looking there?
Yeah, the Oilers have played well here down the stretch. I think they've won 7 out of 10, and yeah, you're right, though. Just LA and Vegas have kept winning above them. But, I think tonight's a big one against Dallas. That's a potential, first-round matchup for the Oilers if they do end up slipping into that wild card. Remains to be seen over the final 4 weeks of the regular season here. But I like where the Oilers are right now. I think they're getting healthy. I think they're, starting to gel in terms of, how they want to play the game here down the stretch. They got great goaltending on Tuesday night from Stuart Skinner. I would imagine, he's the number one moving forward. I mean, just look at the numbers and look at the way he's played this year and NHL All-Star. And it's just a great story for all involved, here in Bakersfield and up in Edmonton, of course, too. But there's a lot of pride and a lot of guys in that dressing room watching, every night watching a guy like Stu go up and do what he's done this year. So, it's an impressive run, but yeah, Vegas has been good. Credit to them because they could have packed it in with all their injuries. And let's face it, LA, I don't think expected. October 1, neither of their goaltenders were on the roster.
Right.
They got Korpisalo a couple of weeks ago in a trade. Copley was down in Ontario and expected to be kind of the Reign number 1A netminder. And here we are in March, and they're playing well, and they had a goaltender who they just acquired and a goaltender who was in the American Hockey League, for the better part of the first half of the year. So that's the nature of the business. But, I think, do I think the Oilers finish top 3? I think they do. And I think they still have an outside shot at winning the division in the regular season, although I don't think that needs to be the end goal.
Let's talk about the health situation. How are the injuries looking up there?
Yeah, I mean, Hyman missed the other day. It's the time of year. I mean, we're going through it too, where, stuff happens, things happen. There's, bugs going around, weather's changing, allergies. I mean, anything can kind of be attributed to it. But, I think the Oilers are, comfortably in, which is good. Do they want better seating? Sure. But you look at a team like the Bruins, they're able to kind of rest guys down the stretch, so if somebody needs a night off or somebody needs a weekend off, they can do that. But do the Oilers have that full luxury? I don't think so at this moment. But it is a situation where they are still a deep team. They do have options up front. So probably get Hyman back tonight. I assume somebody's going to miss due to something. So we'll see what happens. But I think overall, their long-term injuries are pretty much done with. They're waiting for Holloway to come back, but he's a peripheral piece on that team. Remains to be seen if he'll come back here to Bakersfield. That would be awesome, but we'll see what happens.
Let's go and talk about injuries, of course, on the local end. We have missed our captain for a little bit here, Brad Malone. What's the injury situation looking like locally?
Yeah, he's been skating, so that's always a positive sign. I think anytime you start skating, so I think within the next week, I would say for Brad, and anytime it's a head injury or anything like that, you want to be extra cautious. I think we haven't seen Brad. I think he got hurt in Coachella Valley. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's missed 10 games. He's going to miss probably Friday, so. Probably going to miss 11 or 12 games here before we see him. That's a pretty good swath of the season, from an injury back in mid-February. So hopefully get him back in the next week. Ty Tullio's been a little banged up, nothing too serious. Xavier Bourgault, same type of thing. So, get those three back in the lineup. And, it's a different looking Condors lineup. And, I hate to say a different looking Condors lineup because, the lineup that's been out there has been winning hockey games. So,
Right.
it'd be nice to obviously have those three back up front, but, just some illness and some bugs going around the team and that type of thing.
Let's go and talk about the playoff run locally. Calgary and Coachella Valley have already clinched spots as we head toward the Cup. Condors 7-3 in the last 10. And the nice thing about it, Ontario and Abbotsford, which is above them, have had some stumbling blocks going on. What's all that looking like?
Yeah, not only have they had stumbling blocks, but they're going to play each other, I think 6 times here down the stretch. So, I've kind of been saying it, and I know we have a lot of fans in Edmonton and things like that, and they're looking at the standings going, well, how do you make up 8 points down the stretch? And, the thing about the Pacific is everybody plays each other all the time. So 8 points really is like 4 in the NHL. I kind of equate it like just have them. And we're 5 points back of Ontario right now. That's a weekend. That's us winning 2 games against Henderson and them losing 2 games against Abbotsford this weekend. Both very plausible. Nothing where you're like, man, that's never going to happen. So I think if you're the Condors, I think if they can keep this pace, and that's, of the final 15 games, 10-5, I was kind of saying, 10-5 at least gets you a shot, I think, at home ice in that first round. I really do. 84 points last year got home ice. I think it's going to be a little under that this year just because of the way Coachella Valley and Calgary have kind of, ran through the division here. But I think another 20 points gets them in the conversation. That puts the Condors at 80 points. I think it gets them in the conversation for home ice. I think it certainly gets them 5th, and we'll see how it all shakes out. But, yeah, you're right. We always see this every year. Some team, and last year was Abbotsford, kind of came back to the pack at the end of the year. Condors climbed up, ended up snaking home ice on the last day of the year. Same thing this year. Ontario, if you had told me 3 weeks ago that Ontario would win 1 out of their next 10 games, I would have called you crazy. But here we are 3 weeks later, and they've won 1 out of 10. So big opportunity this weekend. Condors have we've talked about it. They have a favorable schedule here. 2 against Henderson, 2 against San Jose, the Abbotsford game in between, Tucson at the end of the month. This is this is go time for this team, and fortunately the team's playing well and they're winning hockey games against teams even above them in the standings.
Let's go and talk about the weekend ahead. We have one of the split ones, including that odd thing where the Condors are actually going on the road for a game. The Henderson series is a split. Friday night going to be at home, and then Saturday night you guys are heading to Vegas, so it's like a caravan road trip of both team buses going through. How's that prep work look like?
I always prefer to start the home and homes on the road. One, because you get the extra day of of off night, I guess, if you will, on the road. You don't feel like you're just rolling in, but the benefit of having it back to back like that, where you're on the road at the second end, is you're not really doing much during the day on the Saturday. Like, I don't even know if the guys will go to the rink. It's based off location and things like that, but I don't even, the scratches will go skate, but that's pretty much it. And this time of year, you don't need much in the morning anymore. You're kind of just rolling out of bed, eating breakfast, ready to roll for the game on Saturday. So, it's a big series. Henderson's out of it. I think they've played themselves out of it the last, the whole season. But, for the last week, they had a chance. They played San Jose 3 times, lost all 3. They had a chance against Ontario the other night. They lost that game. So they're kind of playing themselves out of it. I don't see them being able to get into the top 7. I think San Jose is the only other team in the bottom 3 right now that can, somehow find their way into the top 7. And we'll see what happens. But, this is a wounded Henderson team coming in. This is a team that, I don't think expected to be where they are right now. You look at that roster, I think they've underperformed. I think they've underwhelmed all year. I know they've had, some goaltending issues in Vegas, and that's kind of affected Henderson. But, you've had Patera basically all year. You had LB for a good chunk of this season. Michael Hutchinson early on this year. Like, there weren't many excuses for this team. Quinney and Fraze and, those guys up front. Rempel had 35 goals last year, and it just hasn't been the same. It just hasn't clicked for Henderson this year. That's fine because, we've seen them in the last 2 years, and they were cocky enough 2 years ago when we beat them in the Pacific Finals back in 2021. So, we'll see what happens this weekend. But, put 4 points in the back pocket and move along.
Let's talk about the importance of next Wednesday, which is Energy Night out there as
Yeah.
Abbotsford's coming in. Talking about one of those teams in which we do need to leapfrog to move up in the standings here. How important is that game, and how are you guys preparing for it?
Yeah, I think, this time of year you want home ice to mean something. And, the Condors are, they've won 10 out of their last 14 at home. They're 10-2-2, so they've had points in 12 of their last 14 at home. So they're making this a tough place to play. They're making it difficult on teams, no matter the night, no matter the opposition, no matter the promotion, what's happening. So it's been a difficult place to come in. And Abbotsford's going to have 2 on the weekend against Ontario. They can kind of cement Ontario not getting home ice by winning 2 games this weekend. And then they come into their kind of West Coast swing. They'll go through Ontario again, and then they get Ontario back up in Abbotsford. So it's just weird, the schedule, how it's worked out this year. Teams have been kind of clustered. We haven't seen Henderson since November. We'll see them a bunch down the stretch. We didn't see Coachella Valley at all the first half of the year, and now we'll see them, 6 times here down the stretch. So, Abbotsford's a good team. They've been bolstered a little bit because Vancouver's been out of it, and they've kind of taken the approach of, well, let's try and help Abbotsford out as much as possible. So we'll see what happens next Wednesday. But, yeah, I think we're rooting for Abbotsford this weekend against Ontario. I think would be the preferred play. Let one team kind of run away with third, I think, and might as well be Abbotsford at this point, and then just root for Ontario and Colorado to lose this weekend.
That's what we're looking for. And, of course, it is Energy Night, like I said. So anyone who comments or likes on our replay here of the stream, we'll pick up with a 4-pack of tickets.
Nice.
I have one in my desk right now, so I'll toss that out there. So if you are watching the replay of the stream, just like, comment, and we'll get you all hooked up for that. But, of course, we want people to buy tickets because, you know what? We want to support the local team. How do people need to connect up for the game for tomorrow night and next Wednesday?
Yeah, CondorsTown.com. Tomorrow night's going to be awesome. It's St. Patty's Day, obviously around the globe, but it's also St. Patty's Day here in Condorstown. We've got specialty jerseys. We'll also have $2 beers as well, too, with McUltra and Bud Light Seltzer. So should be a fun night. Should be a good crowd. It's going to be a fun atmosphere. And, Henderson's in town, and we've had a little natural rivalry with them here over the last, couple of years, just from, 2 teams being really good the last couple of years. And, usually when teams are good and they go at each other, it makes for an entertaining evening here. So hopefully a win on Friday night to send the guys off on the bus with good spirits and get ready for Saturday in Henderson. But yeah, it's a fun time of year. Big crowds on this homestand, and it's been a lot of fun.
Let's talk about that away game that is on Saturday night. People want to check that out. What they need to do?
Yeah, AHL TV. We'll get all the fun started at 7:00 from the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, Nevada.
Dollar Loan Center. One of those names where you just go, really? But
I'll leave it
there.
I think it's the only building where the actual name of the company just works for the entire building. Like you don't even have to add arena or anything. It's literally the Dollar Loan Center.
Well, we'll leave it right there.
RyanHolt.com. That's their.
Well, then again, it still beats crypto.com. I'll leave it that.
It does.
Anyways, I don't want to go deep into this. Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Don't forget, next Wednesday night, it is Energy Night out there. I'll be out there, so I'm going to be harassing Ryan in person. And, of course, come on out and join us. And once again, if you comment or like this video, you can pick up a family 4-pack of tickets for next Wednesday night. So it's going to be a good time. Ryan Holt for the Bakersfield Condors. My name is, once again, Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. We'll catch you next week for another edition of your Energy Condors Connection with